Hello, Avram.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
All right, not too bad. Uh,
That's good to hear.
uh,
Uh, I I was sending people to Tom's Hardware over the weekend for Raspberry Pi advice.
very good.
Well,
What kind of Raspberry Pi advice?
I guess it was technically Friday. Um, what kinds of things can I do with a Raspberry Pi? I'm like, oh, have I got a resource
Oh,
for you?
yeah, that's fair. We have a fair amount.
So yeah, we had an open house for Amrock and Strike on Thursday and Friday. And so somebody came in, they're like, hey, I've heard about this Raspberry Pi thing, and somebody gave me one. What can I do with it? I'm like, ha, I got a thing for you.
Sell it on eBay because they're in short supply. That's what you can do with it.
It's true. Are they in that much of a short supply?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I've heard it might be getting better, but it's still pretty rough.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
So, what are we talking about tonight, bud?
Thinking about it. So,
Okay.
I mean, I think this might be too specific and hard to show, but Isaac and my really long effort to make a story about how to play Minecraft in VR
Mm-hmm.
we put up, but that's hard to demonstrate because, and also it only matters if you want to play Minecraft, which I don't know how many people in our audience. Oh, I got one. Okay, I got one for you. We can talk about the. Did we put it up yet? Let's
I
see.
don't know.
Um, let's see if we put up our best portable monitors yet. No, but I could talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I could talk about what the best portable monitors are right now. What what we're putting up a best portable monitors page this week, but beyond just that, there's obviously um, you know it's interesting time in the portable monitor space.
Is it? Okay.
So well, I mean, some of the things that used to be considered that you used to always be able to get are getting more scarce. On the
Oh.
other hand, there's other things that you now can get that are not um, that you didn't have before. So um,
Okay.
so that's so we can we can talk about that, whether or not you if people are traveling less, maybe they need them less, but they're still a big market for them. So yeah, let's talk about portable monitors. I think that'd be fun.
Sounds good. Did you see the other four?
Yeah,
I know the fourth one went up super late.
yeah. Actually, I should be honest. I saw the other three, the first three.
Okay.
Uh,
Fourth one is Twitch.
Ubiquity, Spartacus, and uh,
Fourth one
got
is
it.
Twitch
Okay,
with porn.
I see.
Yeah, huge problem for them. What
Oh,
do
the
they?
environmental impact
Go.
one. There's a lot to be said about that. Because we've been talking to some other companies that about this.
Okay, excellent.
Yep,
Because I think
yep.
that'll probably be the segment that pops on YouTube this week. So
Oh,
is my
cool.
guess. Just because environmental topics always tend to pop on YouTube. So
Really? Okay.
yeah. Uh, all right. You know what I'm going to remember to do this week? I'm going to hit record as if I know what I'm doing.
Indeed.
As if we've done 620 of these before.
Indeed.
Stupid. It seems like every week I look about halfway through our opening and I'm like, oh, right. Of course, I didn't hit record. Why would I? There's no need for that. Not important. All right. The split is set right. The overlay is set right. All right. I'm ready if you are. This week, Samsung is eliminating waste, PlayStation is adding more to Plus, and Twitch is featuring inappropriate content. It's Sunday, April 3rd, 2022, and this is episode 621 of F5 Live, Refreshing Technology, a proud part of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Wherever you are and however you're accessing our show, whether it be on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Snapchat, through a podcatcher like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, TuneIn, or a myriad of other options, through our live stream platforms, livestream.com, Twitch, or YouTube, where you can join the community and get ad-free versions of F5 Live and Pilch Point, or on our website, PLUGHITZlive.com. Thank you for making us a part of your day. There are two ways that you can do that. The first is you can join us live Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern by going to f5live.tv/join us. There you can chat with us in the studio, give us your feedback on the topics as we talk about them. If the comment is relevant, we'll bring it into the show. If you're not able to join us live, that is okay. PLUGHITZlive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows, including F5 Live, Pilch Point, PLUGHITZ Live Presents, and a whole lot more. And of course, you'll find all the ways to watch, listen, and follow along. Before we get started, I want to remind you that we are doing a user survey to get to know our listeners, viewers, and readers better. PLUGHITZlive.com/audience. If you go there, you can fill out a couple of questions. It takes about 60 seconds. And we're going to do a drawing for 2 CES prize packs out of that list of people. Plus, you'll get some content in the future as part of a new segment that we're going to be doing that will come to you guys first, which is pretty exciting. Anyway, PLUGHITZlive.com/audience. Seriously, takes about 60 seconds, and you're done, and you could get one of our CES prize packs. So go check it out. With that, Abram, how are you doing tonight?
All right, not bad. Not bad. Lots of stuff. Lots of stuff brewing. My son and I put up a tutorial this week of how to play Minecraft in VR. So we've been messing with the Oculus. We got the parts. We're going to be building him a PC before his birthday, which is in a couple weeks.
Nice.
So, yeah, getting into doing some stuff like that, trying to fix my 3D printers, which are in sort of disrepair right now. And
okay.
Programming some things for work. So, yeah, a fair amount of different stuff that I need to be working on. But
that's one of the things that I really like about kind of like our environment. You and I and Alante is from day to day, there is no telling what weird thing we're going to be doing.
Yes. I mean, I could use some more weird things to do, but these are fairly normal for me. But yeah, we're so stuff, stuff to do.
But watching from the outside, the things that we get ourselves into can look a little odd. So I love it.
Yes. Yes, that is true.
I love it. Our week this week was over at Amrock. We did a thing on Thursday and Friday. We had an open house, and we got to show off some of the strike stuff. We got to talk to the property manager, hopefully, about the space we're going into. I met a really interesting guy that I'm not going to talk about too much on the show, but could be a good thing for all of us in the group. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited about some of the things that are going on around here. But again, it brings us back to we got some weird stuff going on. I got to introduce people to Oculus and HoloLens. It was an interesting couple of days.
Yeah, no question. I still have an Oculus Quest 2 here that my son has been playing with like like crazy, and you can learn a lot from that.
I've definitely learned a lot from my Quest 2 that's sitting right there, uh, just just outside of the studio. So yeah, it's an interesting technology. People really get into it. That and the Hololens. I had people chasing an imaginary squirrel through Amrock, which was ridiculous fun. Oh my goodness. Well, it's definitely good to be back. We've got a lot of stuff to cover tonight, and we got a couple of topics that I think both of us are going to get lost in a little bit. So, for safety's sake, I suggest we should probably get down to it. This week's Nifty Gifties and F5 Live is proudly powered by the Microsoft Store. Whether you're looking for a new laptop, a tablet, desperately seeking an Xbox, new games, and a whole lot more, you can get them at the Microsoft Store. And remember that current students, faculty, parents, and active military can save up to 10% on almost everything. To browse the products that are available, to see any deals that are going on, and of course, to learn about the discount, you can go to f5live.tv/Microsoft. One of the big topics in technology as of late has been e-waste, environmental impact, things like that. We've seen the EU. Just a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the EU trying to standardize chargers for better or worse. With their focus being on environmental impact. Some companies fought it a little bit on other grounds, innovation in particular. But this week, Samsung has made a pledge that I found pretty interesting to reduce the company's e-waste in two different ways, both in the production process as well as in the sales process, essentially giving users the ability to repair their devices, which is something that you and I have lamented for a while. How many devices have gone to, totally unrepairable or repairable only by a small group of people. They've teamed up with, I think, iFixit to bring repairs. So therefore reducing e-waste. Also, they're reducing carbon emissions during their production and shipping processes, and promoting transparency throughout the process to show where there are places where they're failing or succeeding. I think this is a good move for them. I think it makes sense in the current economic and social climate, and of course, it's good for the planet.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Samsung's definitely not alone in this.
Mm-hmm.
We lately have had a few meetings with Lenovo in CES timeframe and MWC timeframe, and they were on an episode of the Tom's Hardware Show about a week and a half ago, talking about how much they are doing with I guess just environmentally conscious stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the things they're doing include a lot of using a certain percentage of recycled materials for parts of the laptops, like the lid and the chassis. Using having e-waste collection programs to collect laptops when you're done with it. Although this seems to be something that they're doing mainly with large clients. So if I
Okay.
want to recycle my ThinkPad, they don't really have a program for that. Uh, they also are doing a lot with packaging. So the packaging, some of the packaging that used to be like plastic is now all either all cardboard, or actually some of it's made out of biodegradable sugar cane.
Hmm.
Uh, so and so like it used to be, for example, if you've a lot of laptops, they come in a package and there's like a little handle on it, and the
Right.
hand like the package might be cardboard, but inside there might be plastic stuff holding the laptop in place, and there might be the handle
Mm-hmm.
might be plastic. Now they're replacing that with like a paper handle, and the inside is only cardboard stuff or sugar cane or whatever. It's not no plastic, right? Also, they showed on our show that they are experimenting with different materials for the lid, and they asked, I kid you not, they showed they showed a banana husk lid and asked whether you would um, asked folks whether they would buy a ThinkPad that had a lid that was made out of banana husk.
All right. When we're talking about banana husk, are we talking about like the bark on the tree or the yellow skin on the fruit?
Not yellow skin. I think it looks more like bark. Here, I can. This
Okay.
isn't a great image, but if you want, I actually have a screenshot up. I can show you of the ones that they were showing. So hold on a moment, and I will.
Excellent.
Oops, and I will show everyone. Uh, so this was the episode where they showed it on our show, and you can see the one on the
Okay.
right is banana husk. I forget what the one on the left was, uh, but these are these are things that they're experimenting with. They didn't say they're actually going to come out with it, but
Sure.
they
Sure.
I don't know. What do you think? It's not the peel.
Okay. Well, that's the important part for me because the peel of a banana freaks me out. But I've enjoyed textured cases on stuff. I had on one of my Surfi, I had a bamboo uh, thing on it. I also had one on an Xbox. I like the aesthetic. I don't at all mind, especially on the outside like that. Don't mind a texture to it. And if it's a more renewable kind of a thing, why not?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I don't know. I like the one on the right. I like the one on the right a little better, but still, I still kind of would just want my regular ThinkPad to be honest. But it's not a bad idea. It's
Sure.
okay.
And
Uh,
experimenting
I
with
mean, I
odd things is sometimes what leads you to the correct thing,
yeah,
whatever that is. So, whatevs.
yeah. I mean, I think the bigger issue is being able to use recycled metals and things like that
Yeah.
for things like the circuit boards and stuff like that. He was actually talking about how they were using a lower heat soldering process, I think. So it's easier to recycle stuff.
Hmm.
I think maybe easier to unsolder. I'm not really sure, but
Okay.
they were so they definitely. I guess my point is Lenovo's certainly very into this, and I asked Tom Butler, the guy who's sort of in charge of ThinkPad, why are they doing this now? And he said, besides just like, hey, we think this is a good thing to do as a company, he said there's demand for it from clients.
Okay.
Now, who are clients? It's probably not like me buying my one ThinkPad every few years.
Right.
It's companies that are buying, thousands of them and want to be able to say to to investors and the public, like,
Mm-hmm.
look how green we are. So
Yeah.
so obviously that's an appeal.
And whose purchases might be scrutinized towards a carbon neutral
Yeah,
rating and things like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So for those reasons, I still think though that it is way too difficult to recycle electronics. It is way too difficult to recycle. There's like there's not really an easy way to just like drop off your old electronics to be recycled somewhere. Batteries are nearly impossible to find a place to recycle. Like
Yeah.
in my town, I think every like 3 months they have an event where you can drive out and drop off your e-waste. Like, thanks a lot. That's on one
Yeah.
Saturday every quarter or something. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a very
The loss of Radio Shacks, probably for me the biggest loss of that was the loss of a place to drop off batteries.
yeah. I mean, the Best Buy around here has some sort of bin in the front, which I guess you might be able to go drop. But like, it's just they don't make it easy on you
Yeah.
to and there's all this stuff that's going out, it's going in landfills, whatever, but they really don't make it easy on you to recycle. The other thing, of course, that you could be very critical of a company like Samsung for, though, is having phones that wear out. I mean, the best way to reduce e-waste is don't get new stuff.
Right.
Don't need new stuff. I mean, that's sort of contrary to our ethos as tech journalists, of course, but and contrary to fun in life.
Sure.
The but I mean, what's better than picking pieces out of something and trying to recycle it? Having somebody be able to use it for another year or two or three.
Exactly.
So uh, repairing stuff, being able to replace the battery on your phone, things like that, especially now that we've really hit a point in um, electronics where you don't need to replace things as frequently as you once did. I mean,
Yeah.
they hate, manufacturers would hate to hear it, but like there just isn't. It used to be like every year or two you really had to replace your phone or else you were missing out. Now, I mean, there's incremental improvements. I certainly, if you were on 4G and now you're trying to go to 5G, that's something to do. But like, there's realistically, you could hold on to a phone for 3, 4 years easily.
We have an interesting comment in the YouTube chat. As long as manufacturers insist on having a crib to grave monopoly on devices, e-waste will continue to get exponentially worse. I don't disagree with that. You
What
know,
is a crib to grave
that
monopoly? You mean because you
that
can't modify it?
they own the device from the time it exists to the time that it doesn't. Apple devices, for example, a number of Android devices, a lot of Android devices, unless you go to the trouble of rooting them. Uh, you know,
That's true. I mean, and it's true. The person, the commenter makes or I don't know if they were meaning to make this a good point about like software, right? So software could be a great cause of software lack of software updates can be
mm-hmm.
a great cause of e-waste. We were talking about this, I think, a few weeks ago when it came to like Windows 10 and Windows 11, right?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
of the devices that are going to lose Windows 10 support in a few years that are probably still going to be good, and those are going to either there needs to be a solution for them or they're going to end up as e-waste.
mm-hmm.
And
We
then
talked
you
about how
take
Google was had the Chrome OS, for example, that the Chrome
right,
OS version to help support
but
that ecosystem.
Android, I mean, obviously we have some Apple takes a lot of blame here too, but like Android devices, I think usually they say, hey, we're going to give you one or two major version updates and then you're done.
Right.
Now, one could argue that you don't actually need to be on the latest version of Android to have a decent experience using your device. Like
Sure.
there
As time
maybe
goes
there's security
as time goes
patches.
on, you have to be more careful about security. But yeah,
Right. But I mean, like, do you really need to be on Android, like the latest Android to, I mean, the differences between one Android and another are so subtle now. Do you really need to be on the latest one?
right,
You don't. So, I mean, it's, it's an interesting question. I think the economics of the situation make it more likely that people are going to hold on to devices anyway, because if
especially
your
right
thing
now.
is doing what you need it to do, why would you, why would you spend the money? Uh, I mean, we know in our business we've had talks with manufacturers who say like they th- we've had talks with folks in the industry like, oh man, we don't like desktops because desktops last forever and laptops wear out,
Right,
right? I mean, you can hold on a laptop several years, but like a desktop, you could be using a desktop 10 years or something, and it's probably going to be okay. I mean, depending on what you want to do with it, right?
right,
So, it I mean, in a sense, a desktop is actually more eco-friendly than a lot of other things because if it's something where you can do an incremental upgrade on it, then
right.
you can make it useful for you for quite a while longer. So, I mean,
So,
I don't know what to say.
cont-
Yeah,
continued comments from YouTube. Your device isn't meaningfully repairable. And Apple is about to launch an option where you just straight up don't own it. Imagine if instead of having 1.7 million ish dead MacBooks with still useful chips on them that could be recycled or upgraded, instead, an extremely high percentage simply becomes e waste. Um, and to your comment, but the whole laptop doesn't wear out, which brings us right back to what Samsung's saying here with their partnership with iFixit, is that they want their devices to be more repairable. Now, we've got a right to repair thing about to kick in Europe, which might be driving some of this. The Library of Congress is kicking around the right to repair stuff here, trying to push it over to Congress itself to expand it beyond what it is. So some of this might be in line with what's happening on those topics. But yeah, that's exactly what we were saying. The laptop wears out, but it doesn't, right? The laptop doesn't wear out. Some component of it wears out, but unlike your desktop, if the hard drive dies, hard drive's a bad example. If the processor starts to go or something happens on your desktop, you can go get another one. But on your laptop, not so much. Certainly not uh, economically, because you probably have to take it to somebody. Probably has to be a
right. Yeah,
Samsung
yeah.
certified place or
Also,
an Apple certified place. And when all is
yeah,
said and done, it costs as much as getting a new laptop.
yeah, exactly. They don't make it easy on you, especially. I mean, if your laptop is at a point where it's too slow, but hey, I want to upgrade it.
Mm-hmm.
I still love the keyboard and the screen, but just give me a faster processor. There's no way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and yeah, it's the cost of replacement parts can be quite prohibitive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you
Because
want to get a
because they're
new
not designed to do it.
right. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think it was I mean, I liked it when you were able to remove your own batteries on your phone.
Oh.
I I'm still not happy. I mean, in a sense, it's hard to say who's at fault here. The the manufacturer is at fault for making phones that are now sealed in and you can't replace the battery.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, there's ways to do it, but it's very difficult and very easy
Right.
to break your stuff. On the other hand, uh, the the public is at fault because they gave the public what they wanted in a sense, right? They wanted thinner and lighter, and they didn't
Mm-hmm.
care
Right.
about things like ability to replace batteries. So, that's it's there's a lot of fault to go around,
Sure.
and if you were a company that wanted to stick with something that made your device thicker and more repairable, then you're at a competitive disadvantage.
Right.
So,
from Twitch chat, missed that, being able to remove the battery. Yes, we all do. And, I had it again, right? Because when I went into the Windows Phone ecosystem, from where I'm sitting, I'm looking at a whole bunch of my Windows phones at the back were still removable up to Windows 10 Mobile, right? I can see a Lumia Windows 10 Mobile that I could pop the back off and change the battery on, which, when that came to an end, it made me even more sad. You straight up cannot buy some of the chips from the manufacturers. True, that's what we were just saying. Not the phone manufacturers for sure. The actual chip suppliers, the companies have exclusive sales agreements. That's true too. So that's what I'm saying. It's not designed to do it. So even if you could get them, they're cost prohibitive for other reasons. But yeah, so, the idea that Samsung wants to make this stuff possible, the repairability, which thank goodness, because I think we're all ready for that. Plus, the whole maker movement is really kicking into high gear, right? We've talked about this for the last couple of years, Avram. We've seen more people messing around with more things. It's why you have a whole show dedicated to Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
Because people are wanting to build things. They're wanting to fix things. They're trying to convert a thing to a thing.
This is true, but as far as I have seen, no one has created a Raspberry Pi powered phone.
Sure.
If they did, I would probably carry it no matter how clunky it was. I would
Agreed.
Just to make a point. I would almost certainly carry it around. But yeah, so you don't see.
So we have a project. Got it.
Hey, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. I mean, I think that's really difficult because you have to the integrated radio. I mean, you would probably use like the compute module, let's say compute module 4, which would be the Raspberry Pi 4 on like a SODIMM's size thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it would be quite large. I mean, there's a Raspberry Pi powered tablet you can get that is super thick. Mm-hmm. It's just not made for that. It's just not made for that purpose. But I was thinking of e-waste. There's something in my drawer here. I want to see if I can dig out. Here's a great example of e-waste. Now, I bet there's a way to make use of this again, but not officially.
I knew that's what you were about to pull out.
Right? So, Pebble Smartwatch, for those not remembering, right? Perfectly wonderful, a wonderful piece of hardware. Color e-ink display. Nice, soft, whatever, red wrist strap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pebble goes out of business.
No
more support.
Yep.
How many things do you own that are dependent on a cloud service, where the cloud service, if the company goes out of business, the device is a brick. It is useless.
I got we at Radio Shack, we sold this thing. I don't remember what it was called, but it was a little screen that popped up and it had streaming something on it. Don't entirely remember what it was, but it was a little computer with an LCD screen with Wi-Fi built in, that when the company went out of business, all of a sudden these things were absolute garbage. There was nothing that could be done with them. And I collected a bunch of our store demo units because I was like, there's too many of these things. Somebody's going to figure out how to put something else on it. And they did. Eventually somebody came out with an Android ROM for them. And so I basically turned these things into little Android streaming devices, which were fantastic. And if I could, if somebody would put a more modern version of Android on it, I might be able to get it to mimic a Stream Deck today.
You know what? A lot of people I always believe at this point for a while, but there's two things I see going on that also are probably good for the elimination of e-waste. One is folks who are in the maker community taking things like that and not only making software for them, but sometimes taking them apart and like salvaging the screen or
Mm-hmm.
salvaging something like that, desoldering it. Reminds me I have to get a good solder sucker so I can get some solder out of things. The other that I see is a great interest in retro tech, but this doesn't really apply to something like a phone from 5 years ago. Nobody cares about that. But the amount of
But maybe a Pompeii.
love, yeah. I mean, that's not 5 years. That's like
Right, that's
10,
13.
15 years.
2009.
Right. Yeah. So, but you see things like, I've interviewed on my show, on my Tuesday show, a guy who's running like this massive like retro museum in England where he's just collecting all kinds of um, old computers and old game systems. I know a lot of people who are like, including yourself, I think, who are like retro collectors of stuff. So
Absolutely.
uh, old old computers and old video game systems, old to a certain age, and uh, are in some demand because they're
Yeah.
classics, sort of like a classic car.
Mm-hmm.
So that keeps them out of the landfill.
True. I have
But
way too many.
but it depends. You have to have something that's somewhat unique, right? Nobody wants like a gate. No one is nostalgic for like a gateway from like 1998. They
Right.
want, a
Elisa.
Commodore 64 or something, or an Apple Lisa, because those were groundbreaking computers. If it was something that was just like one of many that did the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
nobody cares.
Right. But something that was either visually or technologically revolutionary. I've got, I've got a first gen iMac. I've got one of those weird Mac Pros with the big steel handles on it, and the the one that looks like the lamp from the Pixar logo.
Yeah.
The
I
college
still
dorm
want
lamp.
I still want someone to bring back the iBook. Yeah.
Like the colorful
Yeah.
clamshell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
I'm not an Apple person, but I thought that was kind of cute.
I know. I loved those things. They were a cool design, and as people know about me, I think everybody knows, our regulars know about me. I am a fan of colorful technology. I am looking at where I'm sitting a couple of red phones, a couple of blue phones, and a white phone, not the company blue, but the color blue. Uh, I have always liked I've always liked, colorful technology. Um, I, we've talked in the past about how if the Surface laptop in blue didn't have that horrifying carpet feeling keyboard, I'd probably have one sitting here on the desk right now. So yeah, I would be all about bringing back that '90s style semi-transparent weird color laptop. Oh, I'd have one tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's good to see, and we've hit a nerve. There's stuff happening in the YouTube chat right now, more than we can sit and read out loud. But if you're not watching live, you should be able to go over to the YouTube channel and see what's happening, talking about changing, people being more aware of how to manipulate electronics and all of that. So it's an interesting conversation. Definitely go check it out. But we're gonna keep an eye on the Samsung thing, the Lenovo thing. See how the industry goes with this, and see how it goes in the marketplace. Because when it really comes down to it, that's the thing that will decide whether or not the trend continues, is whether or not it helps with sales, which obviously you and I and both chat rooms are saying that they are totally in favor of, is the ability to repair things and keep things going longer. So everybody listening, Apple engineers, are you hearing us that we want to be able to change batteries and things? We're all on board? Got it. This week's Pilch Point with Avram Pilch is proudly powered by PureVPN. The best way to protect your privacy online is with PureVPN. You can hide your online activities, say goodbye to regional restrictions, and improve your streaming quality. Plus, it's available for almost all of your devices. You can get a special price and a 31-day money-back guarantee right now by going to pilchpoint.live/PureVPN. All right, Avram, what have you got for us this week?
So, we are at Tom's Hardware going to be putting up a new buying guide this week, helping you pick the best portable monitor for you. And we've talked about this, but not for many years, about portable monitors. Well, now that folks maybe are going to get out again, it's nice to think about maybe you need a portable monitor and what would you need it for and what kinds are there, because the landscape has changed a lot in the last few years. So portable monitors, of course, they are usually 14 to 16 inches, sometimes 13, sometimes as big as 17, that you can take in your bag with you, plug into your laptop or potentially into another device, and have a second screen on the go. Obviously, for those of us who are used to having more than one screen at our desk, it is a real productivity downer when you're in the hotel or the airport or whatever and you're only staring at one screen. There are other reasons why you might want a portable monitor as well. Perhaps you have a Raspberry Pi and you want to output from that to a screen and you don't want to carry a big screen with you. You want a portable monitor could come in handy there. You could even use one with a console, with a game console, although it seems a little odd to me that you would be carrying your game console with you, but because you would need probably, I don't know, I guess if you had a fairly light console that you were taking with you, I mean, certainly if you wanted to output a Nintendo Switch to a larger screen than the Switch screen, that would be good.
Definitely.
Maybe if you were running like some type of esports tournament and table space was at a premium, and you were bringing in a whole bunch of I don't know, Xboxes or PlayStations for the tournament. Also, if desk space is at a premium,
I was definitely thinking about that too.
Also, if desk space is at a premium, let's say you've got a small table and you want a screen that is the same height as your laptop screen, a portable monitor is good, because then you have your regular laptop here and your portable monitor screen here, and they can be at about the same height, which is good, because I personally, when I'm using my laptop at my desk, I never use the laptop screen. I always close the lid because I cannot bear to have like my regular monitor here and my laptop screen here. It's just, I find that super annoying. Can't deal with it. So a portable monitor can be good for all of those use cases. Now, it used to be that portable monitors were primarily used USB-A connections, otherwise known as USB 3 or 2 even, where you could your laptop or your other device just needed a USB port and to have a driver for DisplayLink software, which is what the technology is that turns your USB port into a video out. And that was pretty cool because you could then daisy chain these monitors, as many USB ports as you had. But that type of connection is actually becoming less and less common. It's more common now for portable monitors to either have a USB-C connector which does not use DisplayLink technology. In other words, it uses this USB alternate mode, which means that the laptop you're connecting it to, and primarily it's going to be a laptop, has to have a USB-C port or Thunderbolt port that outputs video. Or you can get a monitor that has HDMI or mini HDMI connector on it. And in that case, you can connect anything you want, anything that has HDMI out can connect to it, a Raspberry Pi, a console, whatever. So I guess all of this really depends on what are you using the monitor for. Are you just using it with a particular laptop? Are you using it with other types of devices? So when you think about what you're shooting for, obviously the connection is probably the first thing you should consider. Are you only going to connect it to a laptop that has USB-C alternate mode? Are you connecting it to something with HDMI? Or do you need something that is compatible with your USB-A port? So even though there are fewer and fewer of them, you absolutely can get a DisplayLink capable monitor still. ASUS makes the Zen screen. In particular, a good choice would probably be the ASUS MB169B Plus, which is $220 on Amazon as I look at it. So that's 1080p. Now, most portable monitors are 1080p, although there's some AOC brand monitors that are the old style USB 3 that are now like $120 because they're 1366 by 768. But even with a 14 or 15 inch monitor, I would suggest you not torture yourself with that low of a resolution. The other thing you should pay attention to when you're shopping for portable monitor is besides the connectivity, is the mounting of it. Does it have a good kickstand? Is there a good way to mount it? Because some of the cheaper ones have like an origami style case that you need to use to hold the screen up. That is a big pain in the butt. Other things to consider are some portable monitors actually now have a battery in them. I don't think this is really absolutely necessary at all. I guess it will charge your stuff, or if you want to connect a phone or tablet to it, it may power your phone or tablet. But I mean, considering that most of the time you're going to be powering most of the time what's going to be happening is you're going to be powering the portable monitor either off of your laptop's USB ports or off of its own power adapter. This doesn't make a lot of sense. And of course, you also can get a high refresh rate gaming portable monitor. So you can now get gaming portable monitors that are 144 hertz or even as much as 240 hertz, which is just wild because I guess presumably you're using them with most gaming laptops would already have a built-in screen that had that kind of refresh rate, I guess. But I don't know what you'd be connecting it to. I mean, I guess you can get like 120 hertz signal out of an Xbox Series X, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
So, but you're not going to get the whole 144, but you would get more than 60, which is the low end. But so we have tested out a few models for gaming. We really like the ASUS ROG Strix XG16A HPE, the 15-inch one. Of course, it is fairly expensive. It's $400, and normally you can spend somewhere between $200 and $300 on a portable monitor, or if you find something cheap or old, maybe less than $200. But ASUS's monitor is 144 hertz 1080p, and it does both mini HDMI and USB-C connecting. I mentioned already ASUS's MB169 US display link technology one. Uh, if you want touch, ViewSonic has a good option in the TD1655, which gives you 10-point touch and connects via either HDMI or USB-C. If you want a 17-inch monitor, ViewSonic also has that. It has the VX1755, a 17-inch 144 hertz portable monitor that is actually cheaper than the Asus gaming monitor we talked about. That's $300. As far as a professional monitor for like just doing productivity work with your laptop, we really like Lenovo's ThinkVision M14, which right now is about $269. That connects only via USB-C alt mode, so make sure that your laptop has it. But it has a wonderful kickstand and just great build quality and a great picture. There's the M14T, which adds touch to it, but I'm not really sure if you really need touch that badly. Finally, Asus actually makes a high color quality portable monitor called the ProArt Display 14-inch PA148 CTV, which promises 100% of sRGB color gamut and is CalMan certified, which means they certify that it is color accurate. So that's about $390, but so really made for if you're a artist or photo video editor. Granted, 1080p is still not super high res, but I guess you're getting good color anyway. Now, the ultimate portable monitor, dun dun dun, which we have not gotten to test because they won't send us one and we cannot afford to buy one, but it sounds pretty good, is Asus's ProArt PQ22UC. It is a 4K portable monitor that is OLED and 21.6 inches, and it costs $4,000. So probably most people will not go for that, but if you win Lotto and you want a portable monitor, that's the one for you.
Wow.
But overall, I think the key here is there's still lots of good reasons to get a portable monitor, whether it is being able to use something like your Raspberry Pi on the go, or having a secondary screen for your laptop on the go, or just having very limited desk space wherever it is that you are. For example, I've had circumstances where we've had situations where we all had to crowd into a conference room and do a lot of work, right? Oh yeah, hey, we're all working together in the conference room, and it's not practical to grab a heavy monitor off of my desk and carry it. But portable monitor, I can just set it right up next to my laptop and I have a second screen. So in general, it's good to have a portable monitor. This week you're going to see our picks, but there's just a lot of great stuff out there if you keep in mind what connection you need, what you're using it for, gaming, productivity, or creative professional work, and what your budget is.
Very cool. And I know you said this isn't up yet, but it will be shortly, right?
Yes, this week on tomshardware.com, you will see our list of best portable monitors. Perhaps as soon as Monday, perhaps Tuesday, but no later than that.
Fantastic. Well, obviously, under normal circumstances, we do a lot of traveling with the studio, and Michelle and I have talked for a long time about wanting to invest in a couple of portable monitors to be the ones that go with us, and it's good to know that there are plenty of options for pulling that off, including some sort of a wicked 4K monitor that costs more than some people's cars.
Yeah, I mean that that one is a little bit over the top because it's OLED.
Sure.
But what it really calls attention to is I really wish that there was an affordable OLED desktop monitor. There's,
Hmm.
I mean, I think LG or somebody has one that's 32 inches. It's very expensive. I would love to be able to spend like $500-600 and get like a 27-inch OLED monitor. I don't know when that world will come, but I think that would be lovely.
Indeed. Indeed it would. But as you said, unfortunately, there's no telling when and maybe even if that day will come. Oh my goodness. As always, Abram, appreciate it. You've given me a lot of things to think about for our next trip if we want to go with a portable for the studio. And as always, I look forward to what we talk about next time. This week's Extra Life in F5 Live is proudly powered by EXA. EXA brings the latest technology to gamers, offering the most immersive products for the ultimate gaming experience. They offer the latest in Bluetooth 5.0 and 7.1 surround sound, plus extra features like dual mics and low latency into their headset so everyone can enjoy a sensational gaming experience. And they've got headsets for Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC, plus they won't break the bank. To learn more about the headsets that are available and any current promotions that are going on, you can go to f5live.tv/exa. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about a report, a rumor, if you will, about a possible feature coming to the PlayStation ecosystem. It was called Spartacus. It was said to be a competitor for Xbox Game Pass. This week, Sony officially made Spartacus part of their lineup, and as I predicted, they included it as part of the PlayStation Plus brand. So what we have known since Sony first announced PlayStation Plus, I believe under PS3, which ages it pretty good, it will now be known as PlayStation Plus Essential. It basically nothing's going to change there. The features that you had will continue to exist. Above that, we've got PlayStation Plus Extra, which will be $14.99 a month or $99 for the year. This is where we get into Game Pass territory, right? You'll get a catalog of games available for your PlayStation as part of your benefits, and then you've got PlayStation Plus Premium, which is definitely PPP, which is hard to say, but that's going to be $120 a year or $18 a month. It'll have everything above, plus things like early access to betas, some timed previews, things like that, similar to what we used to talk about on EA Origin back when that was the thing. And theoretically, your game progress should save and be available to you if you end up purchasing the game, and then some discounts on PlayStation Store purchases. Now, some publications, very few though, have been talking about this being a true competitor to Game Pass. However, my take is different because it's missing a lot that Game Pass has. PlayStation Plus tiers seems like it's perfect for the person who is all in on the PlayStation ecosystem. So if you only play and only want to play games on your PS5, this is a great option. Definitely go gung-ho on this. However, Game Pass has things like PC and mobile game streaming. So you can, stream your games to your phone or a computer if you don't have the power to do it locally. Some of those are supposed to be console exclusives. This new PlayStation Plus stuff is missing all of that. Plus, Microsoft confirmed this week that there's going to be a Game Pass family plan coming at some point in the future, which seems like it's just going to push it past this. This seems like truly like Sony panic responded to Game Pass. To me, like that's how I feel.
Yes, this is true, but I mean they need to respond. So I guess for people who are in the PlayStation ecosystem, this is good news. However, I still don't see them making any effort at streaming. Right? I mean, you're not.
Yeah,
I don't.
In nothing that I read, did I hear them talk at all about PlayStation Now. Even a little bit. And certainly not expanding it beyond just straight to the PlayStation. So they seem to have made the exact same mistake that Nintendo made with the new Switch Online Plus is probably what it's called, since that word should have been word of the year for 2021. Plus, it's still console locked, and that was the thing that Microsoft was like, "Nah, we're not going to console lock nothing. Use it on your phone. Apple doesn't want us to have it. Fine, we'll figure out how to make it work in the Safari mobile browser. Whatevs. We've got this. Use your thing wherever you are. We don't care." And both Nintendo and Sony were like, "Oh, we'll do game streaming, but it's going to be direct to your console and nothing else." But even then, PlayStation Now does not seem to be mentioned in any meaningful way here. Plus, there's the whole first-party thing. First-party titles are oddly in their availability in this. Wouldn't you make all of your first-party titles available? Isn't that the point? It's all very strange.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're a day late and a dollar short, but I guess, I mean, this has to be hard for Sony overall because, right, I mean, how many PlayStation exclusives are there? Do you really, like,
Sony generally has been known for their exclusives. Microsoft has been known for not trying to do exclusives. Now, I mean, now they're buying the studios, which is changing the game a little bit. So first party has been exclusive, and then second and third party have been open generally on the Xbox side, whereas Sony has sought out second and third party exclusives.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's what they have going for them because otherwise Microsoft has a much richer ecosystem.
Certainly available for Game Pass, right? Because they teamed up with EA to make EA Play available to all Game Pass subscribers, console, PC, and Ultimate, which is, I mean, that alone was impressive. Gran Turismo, yeah. Yes, of course there are exclusives, and Sony has, like I said, Sony's been known for them. But the games that are available for this service they seem weird to me. You know, the stuff that they've talked about just seems weird to me. I don't know. It really seems like a panic move. And I mean, the fact that they let Nintendo beat them to the punch was not great. Nintendo, as we all know, Nintendo doesn't really care what the industry is doing. They do their own thing. They are different from everybody, and they're happy with that. And the fact that Nintendo got here before Sony, I think, was embarrassing to Sony because the Switch Online Plus or whatever kind of came out of left field. So it all seems like they went, "Oh my god, we have to, uh-oh." and they put it together real quick, and they didn't worry about, contracts or anything. Maybe, with the hope that they can fix it in the future, is my guess. We'll add games as we go. What about your first parties? Don't worry about that. I don't know. I think it's an important move for Sony to have gotten in there. I think they could not let themselves get separated from Nintendo announcing essentially the same thing for less money ahead of them. I think they had to get something out there and then work on the contracts later. Nintendo is that classic Ric Flair promo. I am your god. If you want to believe in something, believe in me. Yeah, that's from chat. That kind of is the way Nintendo feels. They're like, this is how we're doing it. Like it or love it. Come with us or go somewhere else. We don't care. If you like it, come with us. If you don't, Microsoft and Sony probably have something for you. Go over there. We don't care. Not a big deal. But yeah, so for them to have gotten there first, I think Sony just had to get something out there, and they're going to work on the other stuff before it launches, which, by the way, I don't know, we don't really know a timeline or anything exactly on this. It's all a little nebulous to me, which again leads us back to it being a panic move. So, what do you think, Aram? Is this going to be a thing? Like, is this going to be the thing, or are they going to?
It's not going to put them over the
themselves?
top in any way. It's not going to put them over the top, but I'm sure that people who are part of that ecosystem will consider buying it. I mean, it's not a bad idea. It's just may not do that well, but it's not going. I mean, doing nothing was hurting them, so doing something is okay. I mean, I think they will probably see a need to step up their game at some point, even more than this, and we'll talk about it then. But all three major console platforms have to have these services at this point. So Xbox's is the best, but Sony has to do something.
Yeah, totally agreed. They've got to do something, and I guess this is something. So when we know when it's coming, we'll probably talk about it some more, because when that time comes, I think there'll be a little bit more clarity around what we're gonna see, what's gonna be available. And I mean, one thing that we know is that Sony is not afraid to pivot. Famously, the PS4, the entire business model of the PS4 was changed between Microsoft's E3 press conference like 3 hours earlier and Sony's E3 press conference when they announced the device, because of the response to the Xbox One. They pulled features, they changed what was going to be in the box, to the thunderous applause of a hip-hop gamer and probably nobody else. He was loud enough that he was the only voice that I heard at the press conference when they made that announcement. But Sony's not afraid to make a pivot based on response, and the tech press has not been, especially the gaming press, has not been kind to this announcement. Everybody's like, hey, Sony's doing a thing, and Game Pass is still going to be the best deal in gaming. So we'll see what it looks like when it comes out, and when it comes out, we still don't know. So it's all a little bit up in the air. So I guess we'll have to see when we see. This week's news from the tubes and F5 Live is probably powered by Malwarebytes. Whether you use a PC, a Mac, or a mobile device, Malwarebytes Premium is the company's strongest protection ever. It fights threats that traditional antivirus software can't stop. Plus, It blocks standard things like worms, rogues, dialers, trojans, and a whole lot more. It allows you to use your computer and mobile devices with confidence and peace of mind. To learn more and get a special price, you can go to f5live.tv/malwarebytes. This one was an interesting thing that happened this week that I thought needed to be brought up as people in the space. There's a company, Ubiquity Networks. They make, obviously, network equipment. They had a data breach that they let their customers know about. The information that they gave was vague in what they said had happened. After the announcement came out, a whistleblower went to a particular reporter whose name has escaped me. Krebs is his last name. Brian Krebs.
Brian Krebs of Krebs on Security.
Right. The last name was clear to me. I couldn't come up with his first, though. So a whistleblower came forward and gave more information on what had actually happened. He reported on it. The company got mad after it was proven that the whistleblower's information was correct. The Ubiquity Networks was not happy and has filed suit for defamation, even though it is known that what he reported on was at least mostly accurate based on the whistleblower. And the article was very clear that it was speculative based on whistleblower information, which you can only verify to a certain point. In reality, what had happened was it seems like an employee had stolen data, left with it, and then extorted the company to get that data back. And that is exactly what he printed. So he's being sued for defamation for being correct, which I find fascinating. It reminds me very much, Avram, of the topic that we talked about, 6 months ago, where Nikola, the autonomous 18-wheeler semi-truck company, was caught demoing to investors and the public a fake video of their vehicle not driving by itself, but casually rolling down a hill with the camera at an angle. And anybody who reported on them lying got DMCA takedown notices as a threat to their channel and to other people so that they wouldn't say negative things about the company. This feels like that same kind of, at a higher level, obviously, this same kind of threat.
Yeah, so I'm looking at some of the other articles about this as well, and I think one of Ubiquity's claims is that his anonymous source for the article was also the person who he describes as an employee, was also someone who was arrested and charged with a felony for
this.
For this?
Was it for this?
I'm not
was
sure.
some,
it's not clear.
Exactly. There was some gray area on what that was.
Right. So,
but
but
if the whistleblower, if the person who does it comes forward and doesn't say I'm the one who did it, so right, even in that case, or if it's somebody who has had an axe to grind with the company in the past, doesn't mean that their information is incorrect. Look at Edward Snowden, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that doesn't mean that he was, he wasn't revealing any of his source, because we're not supposed to do that if you have an anonymous source. So,
that's what anonymous means.
Krebs is a very reputable journalist. I know a lot of people who think very highly of. I think he used to write for Washington Post, and now he runs his own site and his own Twitter, Krebs on Security. Very, very well respected in the industry. I hope that he hits them with an anti-slap
Yeah.
lawsuit. It doesn't say what venue they're suing him in.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
couldn't
think,
find that information.
but this, this is what you would. This sounds like what you would call a slap suit, which is a strategic lawsuit against public participation, trying to
Hmm.
stop somebody, in this case, a journalist, uh, from revealing stuff that's embarrassing to the company. Many states have anti-slap laws, which means that you can like countersue, and I hope he does that. So, I mean, we obviously, the public has a great interest in this type of reporting occurring.
Hmm.
So, if you're a journalist, you do not want to be sued, because even if you win your lawsuit, this is a huge problem for you. I mean, the
It's a huge
fact,
financial drain. It's a distraction, especially for somebody who's, you know, trying to run a thing.
right,
It's a huge
right. I
distraction.
mean, good for him that he's kind of an independent, running his own independent business there, because I bet there's a lot of companies, a lot of places that would say like, "Oh, retract the story. We can't deal. We don't want to spend the
Right.
money defending it in a lawsuit." There's probably a lot of there's probably publishers that would a lot of publishers that would not stand behind
Absolutely.
someone like this. I mean, New York Times and Washington Post probably would, but a lot of other places probably would not. So it's good. I mean, but that's rough, right? I mean, the amount of money that you have to spend defending, hiring lawyers, you've already lost. I mean,
Hmm.
lawyers are extremely expensive for this kind of thing.
Yeah, they are.
You in a sense you already lost. How much are they suing him for? I think I see one thing here that says they're suing him for $425,000.
Yeah, I think so.
Uh, like very easily, he could spend
Way more
that
than that.
amount of money defending for the $425,000. So
Yep.
it might actually be in his financial interest to settle with them,
Hmm.
which is horrible because that would be like an admission of guilt, which is
Right.
obviously not what he wants and is completely
And
unfair
and
because yeah,
encouraging to companies like this and Nikola to do it again.
right, right. So that's why there are anti-slap suits where you can sue, um, to recover your court costs and maybe punitive damages as well. So I hope, I sincerely hope that he avails himself of um, of that, because you know they got busted,
Yeah.
right? Like they got busted. So their response is to try and shoot the messenger. But you know what? Maybe their response should be to have better security.
Right. Right. They're a, they're a network equipment company. Security should be number one. Like that's what they are, right? The fact that their own security was so questionable does not make their products look more attractive, which
Right? I
obviously is
mean,
part of why they're trying to punish the person who revealed reality.
they're
But
already they're $425,000 is nothing to
right,
them, right? Like that's not going to make them make up for what they lost in value and in their
right.
reputation by any stretch. They're doing it to try
Send a
and
message.
stifle reporting.
Yeah, they're sending a message. And this isn't the first time they've done it either, which I find really interesting. It's not even the first time they've done it to him. A similar suit apparently happened in 2017, I believe, over a different story. Same company, same guy. It was fought then, uh, obviously, and being fought again. So this for me, this is an important story for a lot of reasons because, you you can't be afraid to report on reality or on reports. How often do we talk about reports? The Spartacus story that we just talked about when we talked about it in the first place was a report based on insider knowledge of somebody who wasn't supposed to be talking. Where
Right.
at what point is there a line on what would and would not be acceptable to a company? Now you've got to make decisions based on whether or not the company's going to come after you on whether you should report on something that is interesting and a good story. Nope, not good. Especially not for smaller publications like us, right? That we couldn't defend. We couldn't defend a suit like that unless somebody bigger came in and helped us out, like Peter Thiel, who helped out Hulk Hogan with his suit. We'd need somebody to come up behind us.
Yeah, no question about it. So, yeah.
Strange story, but with a lot of potential impact, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
So, obviously, I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this one as this story progresses, and we will definitely keep our audience up to date. This week's DRM Not Included in F5 Live is proudly powered by Amazon Prime. You get free shipping, but you get a whole lot more with your Prime subscription. For example, you get free music with Amazon Prime Music, free TV, movies, and documentaries with Amazon Prime Video, free games, and a free Twitch subscription to support the content creator of your choice. Could be us, could be somebody else. And that's with Amazon Prime Gaming and a whole lot more. And to learn more, to get a 30-day free trial if you're not already a subscriber, and to get links to all these features and more, you can go to f5live.tv/prime. Speaking of Twitch, last year, Twitch launched a feature for paid boosts. The feature was around for a little while, and then it was retired and replaced immediately by the exact same thing with a different name. This feature essentially allows content creators like us, if we wanted to pay to boost our channel into more visible places, including up to the top of the featured page on the front page of Twitch. Now, when you hear that, my first thought is, ooh, that's going to be abused. And it was. Pretty shortly after the second generation of this was put in place, users started to notice some adult content being promoted on the front page of Twitch. One particular user was full-on topless in the preview image. And that user was banned, but it happened a lot more. Not just directly in adult content, but some questionable content as well. And as such, the feature has been terminated. Suspended, maybe? Terminated, maybe? We don't know. Twitch is obviously reconsidering what this feature may look like in the future if it were to come back at all. It does have a sister feature, which is called Boost This Stream, which is a little different and encourages the community, your community. So, for example, if we had the feature, we could turn it on, and our viewers who are commenting in the chat room, I'll get to you in just a second, would be able to work together to donate channel points to then feature our channel higher up, which is different. This is a true pay-to-win type situation, which comes from the chat room over on Twitch, which Generally, people do not like pay to win. We don't like it in our games. We don't like it in our game streaming. The idea of rallying your community to help boost you, I think, is right in line with gamifying a game streaming platform. That makes sense to me. But the idea of just putting down your credit card and saying, "Hey, put me on the front page," I think goes against the spirit of the community on Twitch a lot and causes problems, right?
Why can't they have moderation? I don't understand.
Yeah, for
I don't
sure on
understand.
that.
I mean, you could. I don't understand why they can't. Why they can't afford to pay somebody to review the content before it goes on the homepage.
Uh, I agree.
I mean, wouldn't that solve? Wouldn't that just solve the problem? I mean, I know this is
Unless,
continuously a problem with.
unless of course the content changes after the the boost happens. I mean, there, but still, I mean that would at least eliminate some of it. I think there are other things that you could put into place. Longevity of the account. Things like that. From the chat room, they are not very smart. And it seems like time and again, that is the end result of Twitch. And yes, we're on Twitch. We're, affiliates on Twitch. And that's great and all. But, how many times in the last 12 months, Abram, have we talked about some stupid thing that Twitch has done that if they had thought
Yeah,
for
a
60
lot.
seconds more, just 60 seconds more, they would have seen the problem?
I think the problems come down largely to one thing, which is paying humans to do moderation.
Mm-hmm.
Tech companies hate, have always hated having to have human judgment involved in commerce decisions. It is always
True.
easier to just either let it flow or put some attempt at um, programmatic moderation. This happens all the time with ads, for example. You end up, how many times have you been on a website and you've seen an ad that crashed your browser or had an
Oh,
inappropriate something in it, right? Because
I
what happens
have
is,
I have a game that I play on
yeah,
my phone that when there's this one particular ad that runs, which it happens way too frequently, the game crashes.
right.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
So what happens a lot is it's not that there's like such great thoughtfulness of like, wow, somebody created an ad and they just really want to crash your phone and crash stuff. No, someone didn't test their ad, but I blame whoever traffics the ad because they're the ones who are ultimately responsible. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you should not be running that. But like, there's a lot of stuff that slips through the filters, whether it's in a game, on a website, whatever. It slips through the filters because there's a sense of we need immediacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, someone who wants to put their ad up, their ad material up, should be able to do it right now. No human moderation holding up the process. Uh, just let it. If I have something I want to publish right now and I'm spending money, just take the money and push out the content. And that seems what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
The is they don't want to have to do the high friction work of having somebody moderate these promoted streams, go and look at them, maybe even keep a constant eye on the homepage. I don't know. Like, that's someone's full-time job, right? And this is easy. This is supposed to be easy revenue. Look, let's just pay people to let them promote stuff.
Right.
But the reality is, the more you automate, the more you create the scenario where people could put inappropriate stuff in. And
Mm-hmm.
then usually what a lot of sites like Facebook do with their ads stuff is, oh, you don't like this, you can report it. But
Right. Right.
now you have streams that are coming on the homepage and people are able to put adult content in there. Hey, wait a second, that's really embarrassing. So, this is, I mean, I am sure that somebody is working on, if it does not exist already, some type of algorithm, some type of computer vision that looks for, I don't know, something that
Nipples.
looks like a naked. naked body or something and tries to ban it. And I am sure that this will be deployed somewhere, and it will get it horribly wrong in some cases, and mark things that are completely innocent content as adult.
Yep.
Ultimately,
from Twitch chat, they do have Twitch cops watching featured channels, but they never seem to actually catch these things before they become a problem. So that's interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't think that it has gotten any better since we talked about this a while ago, which is the fact that Twitch does not do a good job of handling trolls, of handling complaints from racist trolls. Like there's a lot of racist, sexist trolls, whatever, homophobic trolls, prejudiced trolls who are going out there and like attacking the comment section of streamers who they don't like because of who they are. And Twitch is supposed to have moderation to stop that stuff. We're supposed to have folks to go discipline the people who do it, but my understanding is that they don't do a very good job. So again, like, to do these things right requires having human intervention.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tech companies hate human intervention.
Yes, they do. Anything to avoid a human, they will do. And yet, it keeps coming back and biting them. And again, 60 seconds of additional thought would have revealed that, of course, people are going to promote content that will eventually be flagged, but take advantage of it before it happens. Of course that's going to happen. Duh.
You can't unring the bell. I mean, if I was allowing my kids to watch, to go to that site, right, and see that, like, I have to have the talk with them after they saw that, and there's no retracting that.
Right. Yeah. You can't actually wash your eyes out with soap. It doesn't work. So, yeah, it's obviously a problem, but it was also obviously a bad idea, like, from the jump, as far as I'm concerned. It screams, please take advantage of this, in a way that the other style of, community rallying, it would be a lot harder to take advantage of that, I think. Certainly harder than put down your credit card and system exploited. Yeah. So, we don't know what the future of this feature is. My guess is it has no future. I would suspect that we will not see it come back in any form that is even remotely similar to what these last two things have been, if it comes back in any way at all. And that is our show. Thank you to those of you who joined us live. We've had a very lively chat between YouTube and Twitch. If you would like to participate in our lively discussions in the future and give us your feedback on the topics as we talk about them, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, you can go to f5live.tv/join us, or you can find us on Twitch or YouTube. Those are the two places where you can join in with us. If you're not able to join us live, that's okay, of course. PLUGHITZlive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and the ways that you can connect with us, including social media, where you can give us feedback later on, which we always appreciate. We are also, remember, we're still doing our audience survey, PLUGHITZlive.com/audience. We want to know about you, and in exchange, you could win one of 2 CES prize packs with bags and shirts and all kinds of other stuff. Honestly, under this desk to my right is so much previous CES stuff that it's comical, and that's just some of it. So there's plenty of interesting stuff that we'll be able to send your way. If you're one of the 2 winners, it takes about 60 seconds. Go check it out. PLUGHITZlive.com/audience. We've had one person let us know up north that it said that their region wasn't available. If you encounter that, please let us know on social media, and we'll see if we can figure out what's going on. We have a call with the company that's providing the survey tomorrow, so definitely let us know on that. And I think with that, Avram, that'll do it for tonight. And so, on behalf of the staff that's not here, I'm Scott.
I'm Avram.
And we'll see you back next time. Ciao.